Hello everyone and welcome to Let's Play Rimworld. Now this is my first Let's Play, so there might be a few, I guess you could say, bumps in the road along the way, but hopefully all goes well. Now, I guess, for starters, for those of you who don't have any familiarity with the game Rimworld, it's basically, as this little subtitle indicates, a colony simulator where you take control of colonists, and 3 to be exact. I mean, there are mods that let you have more, but typically you always, not typically, you always start with 3 colonists, and it's basically, you're on a world at the edge of the galaxy after humans have already basically mastered the art of space travel, but the problem is that people can't travel faster than light, so all the worlds that are on the rim of the galaxy, so not the center of the galaxy, aren't very well colonized or managed. So you're basically on a ship that crash lands and you have to take control of the colonists and make sure they survive. So let's just get started. I'll choose the largest size. It doesn't really make a difference when you're generating the world, but it makes a difference when you're generating the particular chunk of the map that you're going to settle on, but for the world itself, it doesn't make a difference. I'll just hit random seed a couple times just for good luck. And yeah, we'll generate it. Looks like a pretty good world, I guess. Kind of a Pangea in the sense that it's just one massive continent. Well, that's typically the case I've noticed with most of the random generations. There's not really many like split continents. Everything's pretty much a Pangea, I've noticed, for the most part. Alright. New colony. I'm going to do Cassandra Classic just because that's what I've always done, and it's sort of the mode that the game's meant to be playing. I'm going to choose Challenge because I played the game a lot several months ago, but it's been a while, so in the last couple updates I didn't really familiarize myself with, so I'm familiar with the game, but I'm not familiar with a lot of the mechanics that are newer. So I'll do Challenge because I did get to the point where I would do it on Extreme every time, and I would like do stuff like go to the ice caps, but for now we'll just do the Challenge. Oh, that's a weird name. Canopus XIII. Canopus 13. Okay then, I guess we'll go there. So, where shall we go? Looks like the pirate settlement. Is that the pirate? Yes. The Convicts of Godlessness. Wow. That's a nice name of pirates, I guess. And then Comba. Okay, that's the name of the tribe. Yeah, I'm kind of... Well, it doesn't really matter where I go, particularly. That's a very unnatural looking square, isn't it? Whatever. I think I'll go in the desert just because it's a bit more interesting and different than the temperate area. And just, I might as well. I'm going to do there's small hills. I'm going to try to find the large hills, wherever those might be. Flat. There's not going to be many small hills. Okay, large hills. Let's see. Actually, I kind of want to have a limited number of stone types just because, at least in my opinion, that makes things a bit easier. Whatever. I'll go right here. Oh yeah, that's exactly... whatever. That's fine. For our purposes. Now we have to choose our colonists. I don't know why. The first thing I saw was sex slave, and that just made me chuckle because I'm a bad person. Okay. So, first character. Greedy, chemical fascination. Otherwise, he's got social... And those of you that don't know, this little fire sign just means their passion in the subject. So if someone has a high passion, that's always good because it means they can learn the skill better. And then these little numbers range from 0 to 20, I believe. So this guy's good at... He would be a good warden, a good, well, doctor. I don't really like to have a warden and a doctor, though, just because then that sort of overloads them and they aren't really able to do everything they need to do. I don't know. It doesn't really matter. I don't want to get too picky because I don't want to take 20 minutes trying to choose my very first colonist, or not colonist, but yeah, my very first characters. Sex slave. She's really good at social and cooking, which I guess if all she was a sex slave, Yeah, if all she was a slave, I guess that makes sense. Let's randomize a bit. Yeah, I want someone who's good at shooting, at least. Shooting, and then mining, and I probably want someone that's good at crafting as well. Oh, I also like having a good researcher to start out with, so... Shooting, mining, and crafting. Huh. Oh, yes, okay. That looks pretty good. Psychically deaf. That's actually pretty good, because that means that whenever there's certain random events, they won't get affected. I think that's pretty good. She's incapable of caring or social activities, but, well, that's what this person's for, so whatever. Now I just want someone who's good at research, to be honest. I'd prefer if they got there, too. Oh, no, though. I don't want someone who's incapable of violence, because at the very beginning, it kind of hurts when you've got 1 out of your 3 colonists being a pacifist. Oh, crap, I just forgot something kind of important. Their age. I've done this many times. I'll forget. The problem is when someone's really old. Oh, yeah, there's the problem. Because this person's so old, they have... Yeah, his ability to move is literally halved, so I really don't want this person. That's the thing that's unfortunate about this game, is that... Or I guess about the generation, is that you might have a perfect character in every way except they're old, so they will... Well, they'll basically be incapable of moving at all. And also that little number there is their, as you can see, their chronological age, because, I guess, cryogenically freezing people, which makes sense if you don't have faster than light, the ability to travel faster than light. It makes sense that you'd want to be able to cryogenically freeze people for long periods of time. Okay, gonna randomize this until I get someone who's good at shooting. I don't want to be too picky, like I said, but I kind of am being pretty picky. Cannibal, okay. Whatever. Oh, wow, this person's pretty good all around. Also incapable of social, but... Other than that, they're really good, and they'd be a good researcher as well. I think I'll choose them. VR addict and rugby player. Seems odd that you'd go from being basically obsessed with video games to actually doing something like rugby playing. Okay then. So yeah, now that I've got... I want someone who's good at crafting now, yeah. Crafting. Oh, that was one person who I thought was good. Okay, I didn't look at age. Okay, yeah, he's only 20, he's fine. Crafting, 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 crafting. Oh, volatile, don't like that. Yeah, the traits, some of the traits are really bad, especially abrasive is the worst, absolutely. It basically makes everyone on your settlement unhappy. Crafting. Wow, that's large. Or not large, but that's... Actually, psychically hypersensitive is kind of bad, but because she's also an optimist, that should balance that out. Oh, she's old though. That's... Or he. Sorry. Oh, he's got cataracts. That is also pretty bad, because as you can see, that makes their eyesight terrible. And as a result, all of these are also down. It still says okay, but they're incapable of basically doing anything manual as a result. Okay, yes, crafting. Oh, I forgot already what I wanted. I hate when I see one and I accidentally click again. Brawler, jogger, hard worker. Another old man. Can I not? Oh, wow, he doesn't have anything wrong with him. That's pretty rare for someone who's 54, at least in this game. Alright, you know what? That's good enough for me. So let's see how the map looks. 3 of you awake in your crypto sleep sarcophagi to the sound of sirens and ripping metal. You barely get to the escape pods before the ship is torn apart. Sometime later you land on this unknown Rimworld. As pieces of the shredded starship fall around you, you start making plans to survive. Cool beans. Oh wow, the game seems quite loud for me. On my end. That should be better. Alrighty then, so to start out with, probably should pause. That's always a good idea to start out with when a game of real-time strategy like this. At least if you can pause, it's always a good idea to do so. So we're pretty much smack dab in the middle. I think that typically is where you get placed when you start a new level. I mean, just right away I'm trying to figure out where would be a good place to pick a base, which... I want a place that's close to this dirt because I can't grow crops on sand. I need actual soil. And is that... Yeah, that's sandstone, so This is actually pretty good for what it is, and this as well. So I think I might make my sort of main base, because I think what I'm going to do with my base is you can craft walls and everything, so you can make like a base that's just completely, I guess you could say, like a bunch of separate buildings, but I'm going to make one like big complex, because I've found that that tends to be easier to defend and makes walking easier, obviously, because you don't just have a bunch of spaces between all your buildings. So as long as you have a large complex that's relatively well laid out, you should be good. Yeah, I think like right here would be pretty darn good, because I've got all this soil for crop growing. Oh, that would be good, but that's on the edge, and I believe you can't craft buildings or create buildings outside like 10 blocks or something like that. So yeah, I'm just gonna make it here. First thing I want to do, it's kind of boring, but I'm gonna set priorities, because these are all the things your colonists can do, and I want to set the order in which they do them right away. Just gonna do it like I always do. I'm sure some people will disagree with the effectiveness of the way I do it, but whatever. Different strokes for different folks. Handle. Wait. Okay, no, this, yeah, for some reason I thought this was flick. Yeah. So yeah, firefighting obviously is for fighting fires, doctor is for doctoring, patient is for being, well, if you're injured, they'll seek out a bed immediately. So in some cases, if you really wanted, you could make someone, if they were like half dead, you could make them doctor others before they doctor themselves, which I guess I kind of like to have that happen, because if, well, it depends on how many people are injured, because obviously if all 3 of my colonists are injured, I don't want my one doctor to be in bed. I want him to actually be doing the things first. I'll make that a 4, just because then I can manually make him heal others. If like those 2 are injured, I can actually manually make him actually do stuff like that. Yeah, he's not good at handling animals. I've not really gone into this, because I did do like a test play, and I didn't really do this at all. It's being able to train animals, and I've not really gotten into that at all, so I kind of am hoping to do that this time. It'd be pretty, because you can train, I think, any animal. Oh yeah, and you start out with an animal as well. Actually, let me just click this. Yeah, we start out with a monkey named Nana. So yeah, it'd be kind of cool to have like an army of camels or something. Or even, let's see if there's any other animals on the map. Not really. It's kind of surprising. I feel like normally there's a lot more animals when you first start out, but I suppose it is a desert, so it makes sense. There's normally at least like iguanas or lizards or something. Nope. Nothing at all. Well, alrighty. So, okay, let me just continue doing this. Cooking. Oh, that was one thing I did not really look for. Oh yeah, 2 of them can cook. Yeah, that's fine. Oh yeah, one thing I should do right away is look at who should get which weapons, because you always start out with 3 weapons, a rifle, a pistol, and a knife. So I should see who's best for what. So yeah, you, even though he has a high melee, he has the ability to gain shooting a lot quicker than the other 2, so I'm still going to give him this survival rifle, just because, in my opinion, it's better. He has a pretty high melee. Oh wow, yeah, I'm gonna want him to have that, so yeah, he doesn't really have a high anything. There we go. Oh yeah, and I believe he's a brawler, isn't he? Yeah, so that means that if I don't give him a melee weapon, he'll get angry. Alright, so let me continue doing this stuff. This very boring stuff. I didn't even pay attention to who needs what. Okay, because, yeah, I'm going to make Doug the hunter because of the fact that I'm going to make that a 1, just because although it is not as high of a priority as like these things, hunting is all a manually designated thing, so for the most part, if I want, you know, food and I tell someone to hunt, that means I want it as soon as possible, so I like to put that as a 1. That'll be 4 or 2s. I like to have everyone have a 1 for repair, just because if something's broken down, I want them to repair it as soon as possible for the most part. Which is why I make all of these 1s as well, is because although the 1, yeah, it says higher priority and lower priority, so the farther it is to the right, the lower priority it is, no matter what, well, not no matter what the number is, but it always goes like left to right, starting with 1, and then it goes up by number, pretty much. Kind of complicated, I guess, but not that bad. Oh, only one grower, but whatever. Actually, I'm going to make that a 2 for him, just because if there is crops that need to be grown, I don't want, like, if our base gets annihilated, I don't want him to just be growing. 4, just because if there's nothing better for him to do, I want him to grow some crops, because that's pretty important. Mining, well, there's not going to be that much mining we're going to really do on this map, because it's I think large hills is what I chose. So there's not like large mountains, because yeah, if you chose a mountainous area, like literally half the map in some cases will just be all mountains. Oh wow. Just noticed, this is a little like pre-built area, and you can find, well, in some cases goodies, usually bad, very bad things like evil robots and crazy people that have been in crypto sleep for hundreds of years are in these cases, so usually it's always bad things. So I'm going to probably avoid that area until I've got a very large base and several people. Alright. Okay, yeah, I keep getting distracted with other things. Let's do this. I also like doing this as number 1 because usually if I'm, designating things to be cut, I want them to be cut as soon as possible. Not that we have many things to cut, obviously, because it's a pretty barren landscape, but that's part of the fun. Smithing, I'll make him a 2. I'll make that 2 as well. Actually, if I'm going to be doing anything, I think tailoring is the number 1 priority, so I'll just put that I'll just ignore that for now. Not that I'll probably build anything for smithing for quite a long time anyways. I'm going to make him have a 2 for crafting, because eventually we're going to want to have... Crafting is what you need to build stone walls, and yeah, being able to craft bricks is useful. And then I'll make a 2 for all of them with hauling, because that's pretty important as well. I'll just keep a cleaning as 3. Usually what I do is when I want them to clean stuff, I'll just put it all as 1 when we don't have anything major going down. And I'll make that a 2. I'll probably switch just to the 1 as well if I want something to be researched really quickly. So a lot of these are bound to change just depending on the needs. You don't really need to worry about outfits or anything like that yet. Restrictions doesn't really matter either. Yeah, this is pretty good as well. This game is pretty deep in the sense that there's a lot of things you can alter. I can definitely see this game being intimidating for a first timer. And it was actually for me, and that was when this game didn't even have like these 2 categories. Yeah, because when I started, these 2 categories, actually these 3 categories didn't even exist. And it was still kind of intimidating, so this is one of those games that in my opinion it's kind of hard to get into, but in my experience it's pretty rewarding and fun once you do get into it. Alright, so now that I've done all this managing crap, might as well get started with the actual gameplay. First things first, all these things that dropped from the ship, and that's what all this random stuff strewn across the map is. It's stuff that's crash landed when our ship also crashed. And I want to unforbid it because I do want them to actually pick this stuff up. Kind of useful. And the stuff isn't just in the immediate area. Like if you look, there's stuff all the way across the map. Makes it too bad that you can't go out of this square box, because it'd be nice to just find other stuff, but whatever. When we get to a point where we have like cash crops and all that, we won't need to worry about even mining, because we can just buy everything. But that won't be for a while. Alright. Is there anything else I need to worry about, really? To begin with? Not really. And I do like to usually keep an eye on where the steam geysers are, because then eventually we'll be able to make geothermal, whatever they're called, geothermal generators, I guess. Alright, that's pretty good. The one thing I like to do right away, which it's not really a high priority thing, but I just like to do it, is place this down, because this lets us... Well, it lets us at first place down a stockpile to put all this stuff in to organize it, and it also lets us actually trade our stuff eventually when we get the ability to do so. Alrighty then. And there's our first stockpile. First thing, I don't want to have corpses in this. I tend to like to have this for all the relatively high value items, not corpses. So I'll put, yeah, that's good enough for now. I probably won't get into the organization for a while, like the in-depth organization of stuff. And I guess for now I might as well just make a, let me think here. I was going to make a simple building, but I kind of want to, oh, that's annoying. There used to be a plan function here. It must be, is it here? I don't see it. I might be blind. That's always a possibility. Huh, that's weird. Oh, there it is. No. Yeah, there it is. Okay, plan. Yeah, I always like to do this, usually, just to get an idea of if my base is going to look good. I'm not going to get too in-depth with the base, because it's going to be pretty massive once I really start getting into it, but I want sort of a main hub area at the beginning, and this will end up being our kitchen and dining room sort of area, and it'll also be kind of the main entrance, if you will. I mean, I'm going to have more than one entrance, but this will be kind of the main one. First, I want to see if I go to not furniture, production. Oh, production. If I go to, I want to see how big this stuff is, because I don't quite remember exactly. So if I'm not going to place these down right away, but if eventually I need that many, that's how many I want to put down. I want a 2-wide hallway, just because I don't really think it makes a difference whether you have like a 1-wide hallway or a 2-wide hallway. When you're building a base, it just looks prettier to me, and I'm OCD like that, so yeah. And then I think we'll put a table down. Now normally I tend to use wood for all the furniture just because it's usually pretty plentiful, but in this case there's not that much wood, obviously, although cactuses give you wood. Yeah, that doesn't make much sense, does it? But yeah, they do. So yeah, the sort of dining room, I'll put like a table here. Let's see how this looks. Yeah, I'll probably put like a table here, and then a table here, and then I'll put chairs all around this side and this side. And yeah, this will sort of be the main base, the main entry, I should say. Yeah, this looks pretty good. So I'll make it out of steel, because steel's something that's pretty high value, but I don't really care that much about wasting it at the very beginning. Eventually I'll deconstruct deconstruct the entire building and replace it with the actual, that's steel. That's a good example. The actual like brick walls, but that takes a long time to do, so it's kind of stupid to have try to make a base before then. Alright. And yeah, I'm going to cancel all this except for those for now. And they'll start building. One thing I tend to do, which I'll hopefully avoid in this playthrough, although I might want to do it to some extent just to make things a bit interesting, is I tend to speed up way too much, and as a result, I'll forget basic things like, say, making sure they have food. That's something I should do right away, actually, just while I'm able, because it's something you want to get done as soon as possible, is having food, of course. It's pretty important. So I'll make one growing area there for now, another right here. Yeah. Whoops, didn't want that. But whatever, doesn't really matter. And we need food, so right away, yeah, there's a lot of things you can plant, but right now, I think we'll just have one potato and one strawberry, I guess. Doesn't really make a difference what food you choose. I believe some of them grow a little bit faster, and some of them have a bit better nutritional value, but in general, it doesn't really make a difference between the different food items, that is. Alright, got the stove done, which it's useless as of right now because we don't yet have electricity, of course. Although you'd think you could still, make a fire, but whatever, it doesn't matter. I mean, if you think about it, until the last 100 years or so, most stoves were wood. They were just wood burning. They didn't have any sort of electricity. But whatever, doesn't matter. You'd think the first thing you'd want to build after crash landing on a planet would be like something that doesn't require electricity, but they don't care. Doesn't matter. The game is, I think, in alpha still. It may be in beta. I think it's in alpha, so you can forgive the game for not having stuff that intricate. And actually, I think I'm going to call the video here. I think it's been about 20 minutes, and I think that's about how long I'll make each episode. So thank you all for watching, those few of you who might have actually watched, and see you next time, hopefully.